Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. So today I've got another action figure review for you today, and today we're looking at the deluxe Luke and Yoda Jedi training from Empire Strikes Back. So we're going to jump into it. There's a lot that comes with this deluxe, which is fantastic. So obviously we'll start with what's going to come in the box. So let's jump into it. What you're going to get is already off the bat fantastic. You're going to get some extra hands for Luke. You're going to get this palm that is just a peg, single peg joint, and it means that you can do the famous kind of Luke handstand with the flat palm, as I'm sure a lot of you have seen kind of on Instagram, that sort of thing, with some toy photography. That's fantastic. You also get a second interchangeable hand, which is kind of like a force hand, you know, as if he's picking something up with a force. So that's really cool. Some great detail on that, and again, just a single peg joint. It's really nice that he's come with, you know, more than one set of hands, obviously because of actual, you know, Jedi training Luke in the films, having such you know, famous scenes with him lifting things for the first time with the force and, you know, standing, but obviously he does come with the standard kind of, you know, grasping hands for his lightsaber or a pistol, with a trigger, kind of trigger finger. In terms of Luke, he is the kind of weathered training Luke, as you can see. So we'll pop him back here for now and carry on with these accessories. So you also get the blaster pistol that Luke has. Pretty good detail, a little bit of brown, a little bit of silver, and alongside the black and all the mould detail, it looks pretty good. So nice detail on that. Again, it's just nice to have as many accessories and interchangeable parts and stuff as you can get, especially with a deluxe like that. You know, if you're just getting Yoda and Luke, then, you know, can you really justify double the price of a figure? But this one, you know, until I had this recently, I thought, oh no, I don't think it's worth it. And actually I was surprised at actually all of the accessories you do get. I kind of didn't think about it, but obviously you get, for example, the famous backpack that Luke was running around with Yoda in, which has some really good detail. The buckle, you know, some kind of texture on there. Obviously just the empty rucksack so that he can fit Yoda in there, and Yoda will just slot in. Yoda is a little bit smaller, this version, than the single pack Dagobah Yoda that I have got, that I will be reviewing as well. So he will just slot in there, which is really good. And with this, I think it just unpops there. As you can see, that goes over and around Luke and pops back into the backpack. So we've got that, which is fantastic. We've got Luke's lightsaber, classic, of course. Most of your Luke figures are going to come with the blue saber that obviously was his father's. So it's just you know, it's nice to have another one, just in case you know, yours is broke or lost or whatever you want to do with a scene. We've got Luke, as we said, and we've got Yoda. Now, I'm going to talk about Yoda briefly. I'm going to probably talk about Luke more so in terms of like articulation and things, but obviously Yoda looks fantastic. The head sculpt on this Yoda is it's a lot more intricate than the single pack Yoda. It's a lot darker of a green. It's kind of like the older Yoda, and just look at his face, he looks fantastic. And you know, he's got his little robe, you know, and that's soft goods, which is really nice, and he's got his little belt accessories and his kind of round the neck kind of accessory there as well. He does have legs and feet that do move a little bit, but not too much. It means that he can go actually, you know, all the way back he's actually double jointed in his knees, which is fantastic. He's actually more, he's got more articulation than he looks like he does. With that, like that's a really good, he can split, he can kneel down, he can crawl, he can sit, and I am from memory. I mean, the original single pack Yoda, his legs only have like the single movement from the hip, so that's actually surprising. That's really good. And then obviously like his arms have a little joint in there as well, as you can kind of see. So he does have some movement. So Yoda is actually surprisingly good. He's actually fantastic looking. I mean, when you look at that head sculpt, look at the detailing, and they've gone in with the weathering and they've washed it with that kind of black look to really make his wrinkles and the details in his face really pop. Obviously his wrinkles in his face and his eyes, his mouth, ears just look fantastic. Actually as well, his hair is pretty good on this one. It has that green kind of tint showing through, as if he's kind of he's kind of losing his hair, as he always was. Also with Yoda, I mean, he looks fantastic in terms of design. That's a damn good Yoda. And then the paint applications is actually fantastic in terms of actually putting paint to figure, and like they've actually pulled it off. And then the articulation is surprisingly good. They've got soft goods and accessories. It's so cool. And then to top that off, he's got a second head sculpt, which again is just so good. Like the detailing of that is fantastic. And this is kind of like the concentrating like force wielding face, and that's just a single peg, and you can pop that in there and interchange that head. So that's fantastic. I didn't realise that you got a second head when I first picked him up. He also comes with his little walking stick. Here we go. So this is his little walking stick. Obviously not much, but iconic. His little brown kind of twisted wooden walking stick there, and goes really nicely with his scale, which is good. So that looks fantastic. So in terms of Yoda is very impressive. Obviously all the accessories very good. Moving on to Luke, again, like the paint applications of the kind of weathering, his dirtied look, his head sculpt and his hair look really good. I mean, the body sculpt looks good. Obviously you can't hide the joints, so I'm not going to really penalise them for that. It's not like they can hide that when he's wearing a tank top. Good detailing on the boots, a textured look in the trousers, which is good. So in terms of the look of Luke, I mean, looks really good. He does have a slender bodied build, in comparison to a lot of figures. So he's going to be very very articulate and very flexible, and obviously as well he's Jedi training Luke, so you want him to be acrobatic. So I'm expecting big things on this. Moving on to kind of like articulation on Luke, if I can get this into focus for you. I mean, toe point fantastic. His feet are quite small, but in terms of the movement, it's all there. Really good ankle pivot, good little toe point. You can see that you get not just flat, you can kind of point up a little bit. Up into the knees, you've got like these knees that cover over the joints, which is quite cool. It's like the baggy trousers look, but he has just past 90 in the knee, but also he can swivel at the knee, so like he can kind of get into these really acrobatic poses with kicks and flips. So although there's no double joint in the knee, like they've got the swivel there, which is really good. So making up for that a little bit at the hip, obviously that is like fantastic. That's probably the best split of a Black Series figure I've seen. He can come all the way up in the front, and he can kind of pivot. If you can see here, that joint there allows you to spin so that he can come up for example, a side kick, and also have the leg in different positions. So that's really good. So some really good articulation in the lower half. Moving up, obviously he has the kind of ab pivot there. That's really good. Backwards, he's got a really good backwards, as if he's doing a flip, so that's really good. He's got decent crunch forward, but that backwards is really good. A little bit of a wiggle side to side, or a lot of a wiggle actually, really good. In terms of the hands, like we said, they're interchangeable, so they'll pop out, but they do have really good articulation. Like that is really good in the wrist. That's completely in, completely out, and obviously the completely out is so that he can stand on that flat hand, so that he can do a handstand on that, if I can get that into focus for you. And obviously that's why that pops in like that. At the elbows, got to look at Luke, he's ripped. Pretty good, 90, so not fantastic, but if you had double joints on his arms he'd look ridiculous. So he'll come to 90 again, will swivel completely, of course he will, to do the handstand. So that's pretty good. Because he's got the wrist pivot, it means that you can kind of do the bicep curl, which is really good. In terms of the head's got really good articulation. In terms of his head, his side to side is really good, like really good. It's a really, because he's got quite a long neck and an open kind of ball joint in there. I think it's the dumbbell joint, where it's kind of like attached here, goes up on a tube and then connects here, and that means that you get really good side to side, forward, back, and if you look at this, Luke looking completely up, Luke looking back and completely up, Luke looking forward and completely down, pretty good. Obviously if you're doing a shot with Yoda, and then completely side to side, of course, you can look up to the side, down to the side, that's really good. So amazing articulation on Luke. Very acrobatic possibilities, which for a display is obviously a big bonus, but also from for me, from the toy photography standpoint, it means I can do more dynamic shots that look more natural, and I can pose him a lot easier without such a fight. Even now, I'm moving him very freely. He's not fighting back, but he's not loose, which is really good. So he's gonna be sturdy and stay. So fantastic. In terms of what comes in the package, you get a hell of a lot of accessories, very impressive. In terms of the actual designs of the figures and the paint applications, again fantastic, really impressed. The fact that you get the second head sculpt of Yoda, amazing again. This is a 2-pack that I, for a long time, just kind of I just left it. I didn't think that it was worth it. I thought I'll just wait for it to come down a bit. It's just a release that has sort of happened as part of the Empire Strikes Back anniversary line, but it's nothing too spectacular. But in terms of the figure, or the set, if you will, it's fantastic. You get Luke, you get Yoda, you get a second head, backpack, lightsaber, gun, or blaster, pistol. You get 2 separate hands, and the range of motion is really good. So there's so many possibilities, and of course, I've got my Dagobah R2D2, so that just increases those even more. And although these characters are versatile because you can put them in other scenes on their own, even though they're dressed in the way they are. You can do so many different scenes because of the different accessories and things with this. So I think this is a fantastic pack. In terms of a Luke and Yoda to get, this is a really good one. I would say that this is very deceptively good. So as a pack, I'd probably give this pack a 9, because you get so many accessories. The figures are deceptively articulate, they look great, and they just work really well together. So fantastic, awesome, and definitely think you should pick them up if you can. I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys, and I hope it was informative yet again. Obviously, subscribe if you're new here and you won't miss any of the content to come. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and you take care, and I'm going to see you in the next one.